is sponsored by Cala, fueling the dream with strokes of LP genius.
Entrepreneurs Michael and Lisa Farnsworth dream of creating a sustainable way of life for themselves and their 2 children. They hope to convert this 400-year-old barn in rural Nottinghamshire.
Good girl.
They're really sticky.
But have they underestimated how much they've taken on?
Doing all this to live a dream, and actually it's a bit of a nightmare.
I'm trying to juggle the role of mum and dad and work and the build.
And will it all prove too much when problems with the bank threaten to derail the whole project?
If that money isn't in our account this afternoon, I think I might have a mini meltdown.
Michael and Lisa Farnsworth own and run their own sustainable technology business. So at work, they spend all day trying to persuade us to be more green. Well, now they've decided to practice what they preach and build an environmentally friendly family home for themselves. To realise their dream, the Farnsworths have moved just 10 miles. From Winthorpe to just outside Southwell in the Nottinghamshire countryside. Although they're only moving a short distance, they're hoping that their new 6-acre plot will enable them to create a whole new way of life. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello, Michael.
How are you?
Hello, Lisa.
Hi, nice to meet you.
That looks like hard work.
It is.
It is, yeah.
That looks like quite a project as well, because that building looks like it's fundamentally knackered.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to take a lot of work to get it back to being a nice home.
What made you move out here?
Well, we were actually going to buy a normal house, and then we just saw this and just fell in love with it straight away. It was one of those things that just sort of grabbed us, and probably the heart was ruling the head.
Definitely. Yeah.
Isn't that, you're supposed to not let that happen, are you? The Farnsworths have renovated 2 properties before, but have never been involved in a project of this scale. Wow, that's beautiful.
It is amazing, isn't it?
What a space. I love the slot windows as well, the rhythm that they've got.
It will make really beautiful shadows, won't it, throughout the space.
They plan to convert the barn into a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom family home over 3 floors. The ground floor will have a huge entrance lobby leading onto an open-plan kitchen diner with west-facing French windows. On the other side of the lobby will be an impressive 20-foot lounge. A specially commissioned floating staircase will give access to the first floor, where there'll be a luxury family bathroom. There will be 2 bedrooms for the children and a master bedroom with its own bathroom. On the second floor, there will be a further 2 guest bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. The Farnsworths are also planning to reinstate a 2-storey extension. On the ground floor, there will be a guest bedroom and wet room, and on the second floor, a snug with breathtaking views. Michael and Lisa bought the barn over a year ago and are anxious for the builders to start work as the roof structure is deteriorating rapidly.
Unfortunately, since we've been here, the end's just rotted away. But that's why we've now built a scaffold tower to support that.
Stood here for 400 years, and since we've moved in, it's got worse.
Right. Yes, yeah. It's amazing how quickly a building will become dilapidated once water gets in. And unfortunately, this is what happens to a lot of historic buildings. You know, that's why we're here to rescue it.
Just in time.
Yes.
Just in time.
The original extension was built from a rare sandstone and was demolished in the 1960s.
This photograph clearly shows the extension. It comes out about 10 metres. We're going to reinstate that. We couldn't get the stone anywhere else, so it makes sense that whilst we've got so much of it on site, we recycle and reuse that. We've dug out about 600 tonnes so far. I mean, it's been a hard job.
What's the dream driving this move?
I think the dream is to have a beautiful house with land around us that enables us to be sustainable and to give the children a place to grow up that fulfills all their needs and teaches them about the environment.
you're going to be having a very sustainable lifestyle. I mean, what are the kind of elements of that?
We're going to have a ground source heat pump, so the heat will be generated from the sun. When it heats up the ground, we're going to extract that heat and take it back inside the building.
One of the key things for us as well is the rainwater harvesting system, because that's our business. And so we'll be having one of our own systems in it. It's a new one, so putting our money where our mouth is, and we're trialling it on ourselves.
What was the main driving factors behind the move out here?
Well, we had a few life-changing moments a few years ago. Michael had a problem with his back that nearly paralysed him. I discovered that I was suffering from lupus, which is an autoimmune disease. And we kind of re-evaluated everything, realised that life is too short, you know, and when this came up for sale, we knew we had to grab it with both hands and just get on and do it. We could wait forever and miss the opportunity. But it's worth it. I mean, look at it, it's just fantastic. I can't ever imagine moving from here.
Michael and Lisa bought the barn and 6 acres of land for £495,000. They've been living on site in a caravan for the last 12 months. They plan to fund the build partly through a mortgage and partly through savings and income from their environmental business, which they set up together 6 years ago. How much have you got to do this incredibly ambitious, wonderful project?
We're looking at another 400 to 450,000 to do the barn and the extension and some of the landscaping works that we want to do.
Because I would have said that's too low, I'm sorry to say. Just looking at the areas, you know, you're talking about 300 plus square metres, aren't you?
Yeah.
And if you allow 1,500 a square metre, you're already at 450. Before you add in environmental features.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm also think it's going to be physically very demanding, isn't it?
We're running through this at a pace, and sometimes we don't get time to sit down and really think about what we're doing, and actually explaining it all to you makes me realise how serious this really is, you know. Actually, what if we don't have the budget? What if one of us gets ill? But the thing about dreams is they don't just fall in your lap. You've got to take a risk to get a dream.
So to sum up, they bought the barn for £495,000, and they think they need to spend another £450,000 to turn it into their dream home. That's a total cost of £945,000. But I have two concerns. The first is the budget. And the second, well, this is going to be a demanding, tiring process. And what with running a business and keeping a family going, I wonder what price they're going to pay with their health.
Introducing the delicious new Simply Fuller Longer range from your M&S that helps you lose weight while still enjoying the food you love. Every mouth-watering dish from the extensive new menu is high in protein, so you'll simply feel fuller for longer and less tempted to snack. The new Simply Fuller Longer range from your M&S.
Some days I could murder my boss. But tonight, I could murder a curry.
When you need numbers, call 118-500.
Tandoori Nice Curry House, please? Yes, in High Street.
118-500, the numbers number from BT.
Short breaks at Centre Parks. To book or for your free DVD and brochure, call 0844 249 5555 or visit centreparks.tv.
They'd have our undivided attention morning, noon and night if they could, but sometimes they have to entertain themselves for a while. That's where Pedigree Jumbone comes in. Packed with omega-3, it's the tasty chew with the meaty centre that they can really get their teeth into.
Day and night, we make things happen. We've helped celebrate forgotten anniversaries, found tired travellers a bed. All over the world, we've gone above, then beyond, 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors that speak your language. We've tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into a 1-million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible? Nah. Does this sound like the service you get from your card? American Express. Realise the potential.
Want to get the new year off to a fresh start? In our half-price sale, you can save over £1,100 on this exclusive Cooking Loose bathroom.
And that's one of 24 bathroom collections and 59 shower enclosures, all at half price.
So you're bound to find one that floats your rubber duck.
If you don't make it to the heart of Belfast, it might be because you met Tom, who owns the fishing boat.
The castle, which was actually 300 years of age, found on that rock.
A mermaid darts in dark hollow. Light trips on shimmering scale. Did I merely see a girl that day and dream the glorious tale?
But I'd still recommend you visit Belfast before you leave Northern Ireland.
Begin your journey now at discoverireland.com.
Do it yourself and save. A free 2-part guide in The Guardian and The Observer this weekend.
Are you telling me this guy might be planning a biological attack on my carrier?
That's what we're here to find out.
What the hell is going on?
We got a major security breach, boss.
You gotta get me off this ship.
The new season of NCIS, Wednesday at 9 on 5. Calla, fueling the dream.
Michael and Lisa Farnsworth are converting a 400-year-old barn in Nottinghamshire into an environmentally friendly home for themselves and their 2 children, Lucy and Tom.
They're huge, aren't they? Just having all of this on your doorstep is why we moved here. This is what we wanted.
So many apples.
The Farnsworth are starting their 2nd year living on site in a caravan.
Because he's going to school.
Thomas, have you had your breakfast?
And after months of planning, it's a landmark day for Lisa.
We have finally got actual real builders on site with real site cabins and hard hats and diggers and, you know, and not just like 1 or 2 either. There's like 7 or 8 people. It's just so exciting to see. I wake up at 7:30 in the morning to the melodious sound of drills and digging and men whistling. It's never sounded so wonderful.
But the builder's quote has come in at £560,000, £110,000 more than their original budget, which will mean making some tough decisions.
Right, okay.
It's important to Michael and Lisa they build a sustainable home. So to cut costs, Michael is going to take on a lot of the work himself.
I mean, it would be all too easy to take out the environmental things, but that would kind of break down all of our core principles.
For us, that was never even an option when we were looking at reducing the price.
But this is on top of the mammoth task he's already set himself to recover sufficient sandstone to rebuild the extension.
The flipping sandstone's scary. Honestly, the pile is getting bigger. Michael's been out there every single weekend. He's constantly in and out with the dumper truck across my front doorstep. I mean, why he chose to put it right outside the caravan, I'll never know. But if we don't sort it and clean it, we'll be paying the contractors to sort it and clean it.
The builder's first job is to deal with the roof. But it's not that simple.
But I see the roof's still on. I thought that would be one of the first things to come off.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be the first thing to happen as well, but what we didn't realise is the roof is actually holding the walls in, so we need to keep the roof on as long as we possibly can.
So they want to get the walls very solid before they take that roof off in case the walls drop out.
Move out,
And we've been hoping, of course, with the weather that we didn't get a big glut of snow that was going to just add extra weight to it. So far, we've been all right.
Because I would have thought snow on that roof could be a big problem.
Could, yeah. I mean, it could be about 80 kilograms a square metre if we had a real good dump of snow. It's obviously about the weight of a man, isn't it? And that's kind of the worst thing we need at the moment, whilst the structure is unsupported like this.
So they must get the walls structurally sound before the winter weather sets in.
I take it you're checking the weather forecast every kind of night. Yeah. Fingers crossed, no snow.
Yeah.
The build is due to take 11 months. So the family are getting ready to spend a second winter in the caravan.
This is one of my most hated jobs of the winter. One of the problems with the caravan is it gets very, very mouldy, which is not good for asthma, which I have, albeit mildly, and so do the children.
Last year, the family had to endure months of sub-zero temperatures, but it doesn't seem to bother 5-year-old Tom.
I like my bedroom. I've got a nice warm coat over there that I wear at night time because I've got a cold bed.
Coming into the kitchen in the morning is freezing because there's no heating in here. You can only use a towel once because it never dries because it's so damp. We do not want this build to go into its third winter because I'm not sure a third winter in the caravan will do any of us any good.
A few weeks later, winter is beginning to bite, as is the reality of their £110,000 budget shortfall. To cut costs, Michael is planting 4,000 trees, which in the future will provide fuel for heating.
I'm out here every weekend, really, rain or shine. It's -5 today, but it feels cold. The wind is absolutely freezing. Luckily today I've got some friends helping me because sometimes when you're out here just by yourself all day in the rain and the wind, it can get quite sort of demoralising.
The pressures of managing the build and their business are starting to take their toll on the family.
Life has been so hectic lately. Everything at work is really busy. We're both having to work evenings on that, and Lucy's just started school, so now we've got 2 lots of reading and homework to do. Poor Michael is absolutely exhausted because there's so much pressure on him to get the landscaping and stuff done for the build, and I barely see him at all. So at the moment we're doing all this to live a dream, and actually it's a bit of a nightmare.
It's the beginning of February, and the whole country has been brought to a standstill by the worst snowfall in decades. Lisa and Michael's fears about the roof are now realised.
The last 3 days have been a bit precarious. Wasn't too bad at first, but as you can see, the roof is now totally covered. There's an awful lot of weight on a very precarious roof.
And there are forecasts of more snow to come.
If the roof comes in, the worry is the walls will go with it. And if the walls go with it, it's no longer a renovation, it's a new build. So we would have to reapply for planning all again. And I would be in the caravan for another Christmas. So let's just pray that doesn't happen.
In the last few days, freezing temperatures have dramatically slowed down repairs to the walls. Most of this work involves lime mortar, which won't set in temperatures below 5 degrees. And although the walls aren't as secure as they would like, the builders make the decision to take the roof off.
nice, weren't we? Think they'll put another roof back on? Yeah?
While the build is back on track, the Farnsworths turn their attention to their rainwater harvesting business.
So I want to talk to you about these orders, Billy.
They're still waiting for the money from their mortgage to come through, so are funding the build with savings and income from the company.
How did you get on yesterday with the King's Cross job?
Having lost their previous business and their home 6 years ago, they are understandably nervous.
We're in a tough financial climate now, and our business is based on the construction industry, which has been seeing shrinkage over the last 12 months.
Last month we could see suddenly there was a massive drop in sales. Now, that for us was a bit of a wake-up call that we're not immune to what's happening out there.
A prime focus is supporting the business. We have to batten down the hatches, really, to make sure that we survive. Because after all, that's supporting financially our family. And that's my prime aim, really, to support the family and get us into a house. It'd be nice to move out of the caravan.
Although the worst of winter is over, the freezing weather has delayed the build and the delivery of the steel frame for the interior. This means they are now 3 weeks behind schedule. The stress of juggling the family, business and the build has caused Lisa's lupus condition to flare up.
We've had a bit of a tough week this last week because Lisa's not been very well. She's been in hospital and she's still not very well. It takes quite a lot to keep Lisa in bed, but this time she's properly poorly. She's in a lot of pain, which isn't really nice to see. Me and the kids have been sort of getting along, sort of going to school and keeping the builders at work as well. So there's quite a lot of things to juggle at the moment. Oh, love you. Obviously feel quite sorry for Lisa because she feels like she can't really help very much.
Right, how are you getting on? Thomas, you haven't got your shoes on or your coat.
Come on, Daddy!
Time to go.
After another 2 weeks in bed, Lisa is back on her feet again.
Michael's been an absolute rock to me since I've been ill. Without a single complaint, he's been taking the kids to school, taking the kids to various clubs, picking them up, coming home, doing the washing, sorting out the animals, dealing with builders, sorting out dinner, looking after me, as well as still working at the weekends. I mean, he's been absolutely fantastic.
Beginning the build in winter was always going to be a gamble. But given Lisa's recent illness and having to work through one of the coldest winters in years...
Hello, Michael.
I wonder if they feel it's been worth it.
Nice to see you again. Now that we're pretty much at the end of winter, how much has it delayed the project, do you think?
Well, so far the builders are about 3 weeks behind. But, you know, we wanted to start the build project as soon as we could, and I don't regret starting. We've had hold-ups,
yeah,
and no doubt that may bring some financial knock-ons,
yeah,
but we desperately want to get in before Christmas this year.
You'd expect the new build extension to be one part of the project problem-free, but it isn't.
This is our wet room, as you can see. I mean, obviously you can see the water.
And where is this water coming from? Is it seeping in externally
well,
from here?
Do you know, I mean, it's just looking at this and over here, but that's not looking that promising, is it?
Well, this might be coming over the top, might be. But that...
They've breached
are definitely a problem.
Yeah, and the worst thing is this isn't isolated. I mean, it's here, here, and in a completely separate side here, isn't it? I mean, that is not good.
Basically, the waterproof layer's breached.
Is not the best news, is it?
Sorry to have seen that. Oops.
I'm really in a bad mood now.
Are you?
If the waterproofing has been breached, it is a big problem. But the builders are confident that once the roof and windows get installed, that the issue will be resolved. But there's a far bigger problem looming on the horizon. They are still waiting for the bank to release their mortgage funds.
We are now 3 months in and still no agreement from the bank to release any money.
There obviously has been difficulties in the banking industry, and this is one of the nationalised banks, and quite frankly, they are an absolute pain in the arse. I almost wish they'd gone bust, because we haven't had a penny yet from them. We've had to foot the first £80,000 of the build costs so far, because the bank haven't given us any money. The problem for us is this probably means we've only got another 6 weeks of our own funded money on this project before we'd have to stop the build.
They've got us by the short and curlies. We need the money. If they turned around and said, you know, for some reason, right, we're not going to give you the money, we'd be in an awful situation. Everything would stop.
So it's that serious. If you don't sort it out in the next few weeks, this all stops.
I mean, you know, we try and always remain positive, but there is a very real threat to the project at the moment.
Well, winter has certainly taken its toll, both on their health and the build. But all those problems are going to pale into insignificance if they can't resolve the problems they have with their mortgage. They've only got 6 weeks to do it.
Colour, fueling the dream.
There's now an extra 15% off the Wickes half-price kitchen sale. It's got our name on it. Wickes.
Wake up and smell not just the coffee, but the world.
I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Vicks Sinex Soother. A softer, smoother way to help unblock your nose and soothe your sinuses.
Getting better all the time. There's nothing.
Vicks. We start with solutions, not problems.
Punto Evo. Drive the evolution. New Punto Evo Active. Scrappage price from $8,995, including a free 3-year service plan. See our website for mileage limitation, servicing and scrappage terms and conditions.
These are the antioxidants in a glass of orange juice. But amazingly, a glass of Welch's purple grape juice has twice the natural antioxidant level. No? Watch this. Fantastic. Brilliant. Look at those Welch's antioxidants go. Like I said, amazing. Welch's purple grape juice, packed with twice the natural antioxidant level of orange juice.
Isn't it time the scales felt a little less daunting? Isn't it time healthy eating and keeping active felt more rewarding? It's time to ask your pharmacist about Ally. Ally stops some of the fat you eat from being absorbed, and added to a healthy diet could help boost your weight loss by up to 50%. So for every £2 you lose on your own, you could lose 1 more with Ally. To learn about how different kinds of fat affect your health, visit ally.co.uk.
Follow Amanda's 5 Steps to Fabulous and get £20 worth of Barry & makeup for free. Look fabulous wherever you are.
Thanks, darling.
Free makeup offer with Fabulous magazine, only in the News of the World. Bring on Sunday.
You're listening to the Halifax Breakfast Show. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Oh, hang on, Jules. We don't like to just say hi to all our reward current account customers.
A little extra help.
They get £5 each month, so we say to them, high five.
caller on line 5.
Hello, I'm calling from a space station. We all just high-five. That's going to be the highest five ever.
That's amazing.
Say hi to £5 each month.
With a Halifax Reward current account.
State of the art. Pushing the envelope.
That was wicked!
Thoroughly tested. Fully equipped.
It's hot in here.
To entertain you. And that's just the presenters. Join us for the best gadget show on TV. A new series of The Gadget Show. Coming soon on 5.
The Farnsworth family are 5 months into building their eco-friendly home and are embracing country life.
Perfect. We wanted the children to see everything that happened and teach them that you don't just get things handed to you on a plate, and it's really important that things take time and that you have to put in lots of hard work and effort, from something as small as growing your own vegetables to, you know, the actual build itself. Do it gently. That's it.
But while they begin to build their idea of paradise, there are problems with their mortgage which could put the whole project into crisis.
We've been subject to numerous delays, being drip-fed with information, and we still don't have our money.
It's spring, and the steel superstructure that will form the floors in the barn has arrived. At nearly £40,000, this is one of the most costly elements of the renovation.
Finally, it's starting to take shape as a house and a home, and that's really exciting because, of course, it means that the main structural work is done. But also, it's kind of tinged with a bit of sadness because the whole space has been so cathedral-like and open. Now it's quite sad to see it actually filled in, but, you know, without steels you can't live in it, so they have to go in. And Lucy, what did you think of the steels? You said it was...
Magic.
Magic, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Six months in, and the builders are getting on well with the main barn. They've almost finished the roof, and they're building the interior floors. After a spell of dry weather, the water problem in the extension seems to have gone away. But all the work has to be paid for, and now it's crunch time.
We have a bill at the moment for £60,000 to pay the builder, and I promised him 2 weeks ago that we would have the money sorted because the bank said it would be. And D-Day came yesterday and had been promised I was okay to write the builder a cheque, and then I get a phone call from somebody else in the bank saying that actually, no, they haven't got the right paperwork. I have no further money to carry on with the build, and no further money to pay the builder. We have now used all of our savings, and the building isn't watertight yet. So if we have to stop the build right at the moment, a lot of what has been done already will have been wasted and may end up being redone. And not only does that leave me destitute without a house, it puts a company out of business that's been going since 1923. If that money isn't in our account this afternoon, I think I might have a mini meltdown.
While Michael waits for news from the bank, he gets on the phone to his architect.
Yeah, well, all the tiles... You hear that? So that's me pulling a block off.
Before the scaffolding comes down, he's anxious that the stone is looking its best.
That one there is a bit shoddy, isn't it? Yeah. What about that one? Yeah. And if you compare the size of that block at that point, what about where there's little holes in the pointing?
Michael is probably every builder's nightmare.
What about things like that then?
Not just that he's picky, but that he's on site every single day.
What about this one then, Craig?
And they can't avoid him. He leaves early for work now so that he can allow time on the way to stop and tell them what he's discovered last night that needs redoing.
So if we go up onto the scaffold?
He will point out stuff. He's not afraid to say if there's something how he doesn't want it, but we're paying for it at the end of the day. We've got to live with it.
I wanted to see the stone coming up to the tiles the same as they do on that end. The masons that built this building 400 years ago had gone to a considerable amount of effort to make sure all the courses of blocks were in straight rows and there were no blocks with any defects. And the last thing that I want is the repairs that we make to not reflect their impeccable level of quality. What about that then? Do you reckon that's just worth sawing that bit off and pointing in there? Okay, that's good news.
Later that day, Michael finally gets a call from the bank.
We do have money for the next month's worth of build work, and that is some pressure relieved from weeks and weeks of anxiety.
The bank have paid the first instalment of £60,000, which means they can now push ahead with the build. The Farnsworths are now 7 months into their 11-month build, and the layout of their new family home is beginning to take shape. The next big push is on the environmental aspects of the design. They install lots of insulation. One of their company's rainwater harvesting tanks, and a heat recovery system to help keep the house warm in winter and cool in summer. But sustainable features like this can add up to 10% to the cost of a build. Despite their tight budget, the Farnsworths aren't willing to compromise, so Michael is taking on yet more work himself. His next job is digging the trenches for the ground source heat pumps.
The cost of the sand is about £1,000. The cost of hiring the machine is about £400. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. It would cost me 10 times more to have the builder do it than do it myself. And even if I cost in my time, I'm saving myself more than £10,000 by doing this myself.
Michael needs to dig 150 metres of trench a day, and is taken a week away from their business to do it. Meanwhile, Lisa's inside doing work she's brought home from the office.
This is how life is a bit at the moment, really. There just aren't enough hours in the day, so he's out there building us a home and I'm in here bringing in the money.
Although the initial outlay for the ground source heating is expensive, the running costs can be as low as a quarter of that of conventional heating.
The heat source really is from the ground, and the ground gets warmed by the sun. So really we're using or making the use of a free resource.
As spring arrives, the barn is really taking shape, and Lisa begins to contemplate life after the caravan.
Oh, in it goes. Oh, the novelty of the caravan is well and truly worn off. I could quite happily take a match to it at the moment. But, you know, spring is here, the weather is better, the heaters are starting to go off. You know, I'm not having another Christmas in here. So, all's good.
Even son Tom has had enough.
I've been in my caravan a bit too long now, about 4 years maybe. So I really think it's time for me to move into a new house, but it isn't done.
There's no doubt that this is a big build. But add to that a young family, running their own business, and health and money concerns. And you can see that Michael and Lisa have not had an easy time of it. But it's now 2 months until the date when they should be moving in. So I'm hoping they're on the home straight.
The big change since I was last here is the adding of the 3 floors into what was once a vast empty space. I'm interested to see how it's worked out.
Oh, wow. That is something else, isn't it?
It is really fantastic.
Wow. Really
brilliant,
interesting shapes.
Yeah, everything's on the diagonal.
But there's still a long way to go and not much time. I'm doubtful they're going to hit their deadline.
So this is your bedroom. Now, I thought that you were supposed to be in a couple of months, which I know there's lots happened, but there's still a lot to do.
I mean, in the original schedule, we were supposed to be in about 8 weeks' time. But just small little delays cumulatively have added up, and we've now found ourselves about 6 weeks behind.
So you're now talking about mid-November?
Yeah, sort of mid-November, really.
I mean, that's properly back into winter.
I mean, and it is freezing in the caravan.
I don't think we could cope with another winter, full winter in that caravan. This winter was really hard, and we're not prepared for another one in it, are we?
I can understand that they're desperate to move in, but could Michael's eye for detail actually be slowing them down?
There's only just one problem, is the colour of the pointing, which kind of concerns me. It's kind of a different mix, I think, from the pointing on the main barn. A really nice, warm, sandy colour on the main barn.
What are you going to do about it?
I think it needs repointing, because it just doesn't match.
Lisa, do you think it'd be fair to say that Michael's something of a perfectionist?
It's really important to both of us that the details are right, but sometimes you just want to shake him and say it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
But the water problem with the extension has returned.
Now, the last time I was here, there was a real problem with the water, wasn't there?
Yeah. In fact, we've still got a problem with the water.
This is all floating.
It is, yeah. And until the building's watertight, we can't tell whether the water is coming in through the wall and the windows, or literally coming in through the wall where it's been tanked.
Well, I mean, that is amazing. I mean, I've never been in a building where that is going on and there's finished plaster on the walls. I mean, this is really porous. This is going to be sucking up moisture. You're trying to get it to lose moisture. And we're floating on water.
We need to get the water out of here before the floor is poured.
I wouldn't pour the floor until the building's watertight, because even if you pour the floor, if it's running down the walls, it's just it could just be sitting back under the floor.
Yeah.
And how it's going to take months to come back out.
And the floors are being poured in 3 days' time.
Well, you can't pour the floor in here.
No, it needs to all come out and be redone, doesn't it?
It does.
For Lisa and Michael, this is potentially devastating news. The builders are still confident that the windows and flashing will resolve the issue, but only time will tell.
And I'm seriously concerned that if they want to avoid spending another winter in that freezing caravan, then getting this project finished before the weather turns, well, it could be their toughest challenge to date.
In the Caribbean, carnival season is about to begin, and the place that taught the world to party is already buzzing. Somewhere in the world, the sun is shining on an unforgettable experience. Don't let it pass you by. There are thousands of great deals on flights and holidays in the January sale from British Airways. Book now at ba.com.
The Unmissable Argos end of catalogue sale just got even better. We've frozen our prices until our new catalogue launches. Save up to half price on a huge range of toys, including Fisher-Price, Transformers and For Real. And save up to half price on a great range of electricals, from coffee machines to TVs. Hurry, these fantastic clearance deals must end soon. Don't shop for it, Argos it.
At Homebase, you can choose from over 350 styles of flooring and tiling. And for 1 week only, selected styles are half price. Great sale prices at Homebase.
I'm quick, but this is very quicker.
Do it yourself and save.
A free two-part guide in The Guardian and The Observer this weekend.
Choose a free second pair at Boots Opticians, because there's more than one you.
Now, I bet you didn't know that Everest put some of this into its products. Or even some of this. But then you probably didn't realise that Everest now has over 60 beautiful fitted kitchens for you to choose from. And did you know that Everest has now made its best A-rated windows even better? So they save you money and make your home warmer and more secure than it's ever been before. Now, be honest, you didn't expect Everest to be doing that today, did you?
Scottish Widows has been helping people prepare for their future since 1815. So it's no wonder we've been voted the best individual pensions provider by independent financial advisors. To find out how we can help with your future, have a chat with your financial advisor, or come in and see us at any branch of Lloyds TSB. Scottish Widows, for life, investments and pensions.
There's now an extra 15% off the Wickes half-price kitchen sale. It's got our name on it. Wickes.
Yakult. A bottle a day, every day.
So, same time tomorrow.
Listen to your gut.
At the Curry's sale, even more massive savings, like £60 off this 22-inch LG LCD TV. It's 1080p HD ready and only $189. And there's £100 off this exclusive Dyson DC24 Blitzit with extra tools, only $199. Huge savings still on at the Curry's sale.
Danone does it first thing in the morning. Madeley only does it with friends. And it's gotten Burton Race into a lot of trouble.
Can you not smoke near him?
5 celebs try to kick the filthiest habit of all.
Oh, needs a cigarette.
Celebrity Quitters starts Monday at 7:30 on 5.
Calla, fueling the dream.
A year ago, Michael and Lisa Farnsworth set out to create a sustainable family home with the added ambition of doing it in a high-end contemporary style. At the start of this project, I was concerned that the Farnsworth's budget, although large, was not big enough to deliver the environmental standards and quality that they'd set their heart on. But what I didn't count on was the couple's incredible determination. Now, when I was here just a few months ago, it seemed like there was still so much left to do that they were destined to spend another winter in that freezing caravan. But yet again, they've proved me wrong. Hello.
You're back. Hi.
You're finished.
Hello there, John.
Hello.
How are you? Are you well?
It is stunning.
It's not a bomb site.
It's a lot less than a bomb site. I mean, you've even got paving, the grass is... I mean, you've really been busy.
We've been extremely busy.
Yeah. An extension, because last time I was here, it was more of a swimming pool, less of an extension. What happened?
Once the windows were in, all the LED flashings were on, the building was sealed, watertight, and we no longer have a problem. So
no more leaks.
No leaks, and that's the good news.
Well, should we have a look inside?
Would love to show you around.
This is a proper piece of architecture, and what a transformation. Even at first glance, it's easy to see that this 400-year-old barn has been brought back to life with real craft and care. It's a lovely elevation, isn't it, this?
Yeah, it's beautiful,
It's just fantastic.
But it's inside where their vision really comes to life.
Wow, this is fantastic.
I know.
Look at it, it's like a proper magazine. It's like a bought one. It's like a grown-up house.
I know. Is it ours? It doesn't feel like ours yet.
I bet it feels like that.
Considering the barn started with only slots for windows, the design is a triumph in maximising natural light. They've managed to create a stylish and contemporary interior, while still retaining the original charm of the old agricultural building.
Yeah, I think what you have done, which is a real success, is that it does still have that sense of scale, you know, that barniness that just gets lost in so many barn conversions, where you walk in, it's like, oh, it's a barn from the outside, but inside it could be any house, whereas here, you know what it was, you feel it.
We wanted to keep that sense of sort of like almost like a cathedral, that when you come in, so you can see right from one end to the other, and that was really important to us. So I think it's lovely that there's so much glass around, and you know, and that we've kept so many of the walls exposed.
But this is more than just a beautiful home, it's a building with brains. There's a plant room dedicated to housing all the environmental technologies which enable them to significantly reduce their energy and water consumption.
And the floor is lovely and warm.
Yeah.
This is the ground source heat pump,
It is,
it?
yeah.
It is, yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? They're working very successfully, bringing in the heat from the field, transmitting it on all 3 floors of the house. I think this is working really well.
I think we wanted to prove that you could have an eco-friendly house and not be having string round your trousers and be living in something that's all made of wood. You know, you would never know that this is an eco-home, and I think that's what a proper eco-home should be like.
Despite the fact the barn now has 3 floors, 6 double bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, they've cleverly managed to retain the original building sense of scale by the bold use of glass throughout the design. On the first floor is the family bathroom with a limestone bath, which required special reinforcement in the floor to take its weight. All the family bedrooms are on this floor, and the children's rooms are certainly a contrast to their sleeping arrangements in the caravan.
So it's the first time Lucy's had her own proper bedroom.
Pink wallpaper, she's gonna lay an egg.
All the fairs and things, and we've got all the little shutters in here so she can put her toys in there and store them away.
And this is Thomas's room.
Oh, okay.
And here's his bed deck, which he'll just, you know, be able to go up his oak ladder and play up on the top.
It's like having his own little treehouse.
He's going to love this.
Isn't he? And this is your bedroom, isn't it?
That's
yeah,
right.
This is the master
Finally
suite.
got a large bedroom with a proper bed. And
Beautiful, it's a massive bed.
I know.
And you can lie in bed and admire your sandstone, that must be nice.
Almost makes me quiver.
It is a lot of stone, isn't it? I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it's almost like a work of art, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It really strikes me that this is a very well-made house, and you just see little details like the way they've managed to get that socket so well into that stone wall. That's not an easy thing to do.
No.
It's very well built. It's a lovely, lovely room. It's a bit jealous. Nice bedroom.
It's a bit like a hotel, isn't it?
It's very like a hotel, yeah.
Despite the extra costs of incorporating all the environmental features, Michael and Lisa anticipate saving £2,000 a year on their running costs. Keen to minimise waste, the extension above the plant room reuses the timbers from the original barn's roof.
It's a nice touch, isn't it?
They make it, I think, definitely.
They really do.
So how much does this all cost you?
Well, the build costs in themselves have come in at just over 500,000. So it's actually cost a cool £1 million to do this place.
And then when you add in the amount of work that you've done, that's about £100,000 worth of work.
Yeah, if we were paying somebody else to do it, would have been another 100,000. So really, it would have cost 1.1 million to do this place.
But spending more than £1 million on a house is a huge amount of money.
Yeah, it's a huge amount of money, and actually that is very poignant for us because this has all been built up from scratch. About 6 years ago, we lost our home and our business. We both lost our jobs, and we've had to work very hard to build this home, and every penny we've spent on it has been through hard work and saving and saving. And
one of the main reasons we've gone down the sustainability route is not only because of our own ethics, but because we want to keep our running costs low. It's only been 6 years since we started again with nothing, and we just don't take anything for granted.
And after 2.5 years in the caravan, it looks like Tom and Lucy won't be taking anything for granted either.
A little bit of help.
I'm really fed up with living in a caravan. It's so dirty and mouldy and oozy and stuff. And in this house there's lots of space to run around, like in the caravan there is not much space. The caravan gets home.
Does it feel a little bit surreal being sat here?
yeah, I still kind of can't believe it's all ours. It's so big.
A little bit like going on a holiday. You know, we're going to this really nice holiday home, and it kind of still doesn't feel like it's ours, you know.
How significant a change in your lifestyle do you think is going to happen now, you know, when you start to live the dream that you've been working so hard for so long?
Now that we've got our time back and our lives back, we'll be able to come home from work like normal people and just have a life.
Does that mean that you're actually going to put a ban on Michael's insane working regime?
Yeah, I've sold the digger. It's gone.
Are you proud of what you've achieved together? Because you're a really good team, aren't you?
We've just stayed focused. We've achieved what we set out to achieve, and that's quite fulfilling, really.
We needed each other
Yeah.
to be able to do this. We couldn't have done it without each other.
Well,
I think
I'm very impressed. I think you've done an amazing thing.
Oh, well,
congratulations. I've always been really impressed with Michael and Lisa for taking on such an ambitious build whilst running their own company and bringing up a young family. But what has really struck me over the past year is their teamwork, because it is working together that they have created this beautiful, sustainable family home. And I don't think anyone could say that they don't thoroughly deserve it. Next time, will the Shaws be able to turn this lighthouse in East Sussex into a luxury B&B in just 8 months?
It was, one might say, brought in a moment of madness.
I think it's going to be good fun.
OK, roll your pants up, hard hats on.
And I'm looking forward to it, of course.
This time next week, 5 takes you to southern Africa, where Robson Green begins a new series of journeys to some of the most dramatic angling locations in the world. Extreme fishing, next Thursday at 9 here on 5. Next, extreme action. From a dubious side of the army, Steven Seagal stars in Attack Force in just a tick.
Colour, fueling the dream with strokes of LP genius.
Mac, Lindsay and Hawks head into the depths of the Big Apple for their next investigation. CSI New York in a tick on 5 USA. At the age of 57, Ronnie and Donnie are the oldest co-joined twins in the world. 2 of Fiverr's extraordinary people next.
Those are some East German cowboys and Indians. That's the biggest train set in the world. I recognise him. And that's me, continuing my grand tour of Europe this week.
Rango, I've come to the conclusion that they're absolutely bonkers.
Join me for Paul Merton in Europe, Monday at 9, only on 5.
Don't know when I felt this free. When did we last do this?
Crikey. I remember his first steps.
Last time I was this covered in mud, I got told off.
She always did make friends easily. When was the last time you heard that?
I don't hear anything.
Exactly.
To book or for your free DVD and brochure, call 0844 249 5555.
As a nation, we love to eat out. 58% of Brits admit that they wouldn't turn down the offer of a pudding under any circumstances. So treat yourself this January and eat out from £5 for 2 courses at more than 1,000 restaurants. Collect tokens in the Times today. Be part of the Times.
Another
to take?
New Revlon Double Twist Mascara. A revolutionary 2-in-1 applicator that combines a thickening brush with separating combs for massive volume and remarkable definition. New Revlon Double Twist Mascara.
It's worth a double take.
In this week's Closer, Hannah Waterman on her marriage split. Plus, how Kerry's finally getting back in shape. Guess celebs get real life get closer.
I mean, you just think about it. I mean, not just the saving, but it increases our kids' inheritance, doesn't it?
No, I'm going to spend that.
Hello, it's just after 9. I'm Polly Whitehouse. 50,000 people are feared dead after the powerful earthquake in Haiti. Rescuers